What I'm about to share with you literally is 3,000 years old, literally Babylonian times. There's nothing new about what I'm about to share with you. However, it's not taught in high school, it's not taught in college, it's something you've got to learn on your own. I talk about this at the beginning of just about every show, that what we're doing together here is working hard to improve our financial IQ, to improve our financial literacy. Because high school and college don't teach us anything about how to build wealth. High school and college just teaches us how to get a job. And I know this can be offensive, but some of you may not have heard this, but did you know that jobs are free? But you paid $80,000 to get a degree to get a job. And many of you paid $80,000 to get a degree that you can never get a job in. In fact, I've heard that it's over 50% of degrees never get used. Over 50%. So what this is, Ben Franklin talks about these 5 points in his autobiography. Andrew Carnegie and Napoleon Hill talk about these 5 points in Think and Grow Rich. But Austin brought it to light in a very interesting way. And again, he'll be on the show tomorrow at noon. So you won't just hear this from me today, you'll actually hear it from his mouth as well. But what these are is 5 habits that the wealthy share that the poor and middle class don't. And there's a warning. If you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're middle class, we have a tendency to hang out with people we like. And the term like has multiple meanings, but we have a tendency to hang out with people like us. So that's why we like them, because they're like us. But there's a problem. If you're poor and middle class, you're living paycheck to paycheck, and you hang out with people who are poor and middle class living paycheck to paycheck, and you talk about money or success or wealth, is there any value in that? None. See, we hang out with our peers, our equals, and we're comfortable with that. But it doesn't help. It doesn't help. You've got to hang out with people who are doing better than you. I joke about this, but I am dead serious when I say this. Well, let me set it up. I went to this thing where you pay $20,000 a year to be a member of this mastermind group. And what it is there's 12 people in the room, and they're all millionaires. And what you do is you go there and you throw out problems. And the other 11 are supposed to offer solutions. And so you mastermind and you work together. Well, I went into this group and I sat there and they kept coming up with problems, and I knew the answer to each of their problems. I was able to figure out what was wrong. Should I join that group? No. Absolutely not. I want to be the dumbest motherfucker in the room, not the smartest. That's how you get ahead. You want to be the dumbest. You want to be in a room where you don't know all the answers. And that's what we're trying to create at Total Wealth Academy, is an area where you can come, feel comfortable, feel safe, and be able to ask questions and be able to admit, you know, it's hard to say this out loud, but you want to be able to admit you're not in the financial position you want to be in, and it be a safe place to say it. It's not always safe. How many of you don't admit to your friends and relatives that you're not in the financial position you want to be in. You don't. You don't brag about that. Plus, you know they don't care anyway. And they can't help you, so there's no reason to share it. But here, I want you to be comfortable going, man, I'm not in the financial position I want to be in, and I'm willing to do something about it and have the support that you need to do something about it. Now, these 5 habits are what happen when you start hanging out with wealthy people. The first one is, and by the way, there's nothing romantic or sexy about what I'm about to share with you. This is basic. It's not exciting. It's just you got to do it. But the first one is track every dime that you spend. Track every dime that you spend. There's a little app called Mint, I believe. Anybody got Mint? Yeah, sweet. I mean, it tells you every dime you spend, where you spend it, where you're goofing up. I think it even has alerts to go, hey, you went out too much last month to eat or something like that. But what you've got to do is live within your means. And what this basically comes down to is, as a passive investor, let's say that you make $100,000 a year at your job and $50,000 a year in passive income. Don't go above $100,000 in expenses. Why? Because markets can change, different things can change, and suddenly you're not making the extra $50,000 for a year, maybe even 2 years before it kicks back in. Or reverse, what if the $100,000 a year position goes away? Or the $100,000 a year position, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, we're having cutbacks. You're now making 70 grand a year. But we love you. We're cool, right? Do you see? It's like with sponsors. Sponsors in the room know that we had a catastrophe with a sponsor. And I'll tell you exactly what happened. Let's say that you're making, I'll use the board, $250,000 a year. Let's try a different marker. There we go. $250,000 a year in management fees. That's pretty darn permanent. In other words, if you own 2 apartment complexes or 3 apartment complexes and you're making 250 grand a year, wonderful. But you're also doing deals, and you make an additional $300,000 in acquisition fees and other fees. Should you ever set yourself up where your bills are $275,000 or $300,000? No. You stay under that number. Under that number. Because what if the market changes and you can't do deals as quickly as you could in the past? You get in trouble really quick. Really quick. So live within your permanent means, the most stable source of income that you have. Stay within that mean. And don't go above it. Don't buy airplanes. Don't buy helicopters. Don't buy restaurants. Stay within your means. Because it will bite you in the ass in a short period of time if things change. The next one, don't take on massive consumer debt. I kind of hit on that when I said don't buy airplanes and helicopters, but it also applies to, believe it or not, something as simple as automobiles. something as simple as houses. I saw a guy who made, I think, 400 grand a year, bought a $2 million house, bought the Land Rover, bought the BMWs, bought the Louis Vuitton, bought the Rolexes, bought the Hublots, and then they fired him. Guess where every one of those things are right now? For sale. For sale. So don't take on massive consumer debt. Am I saying not to buy the Ferrari, the Land Rover? I'm not saying that. But if you do, pay cash for those suckers. Pay cash for those suckers. And then if your pay changes, whatever, you still got your Land Rover, you still got your Ferrari, because there's no expense except for maintenance. So watch out for that. One thing that a guy who was almost a billionaire taught me, he said, don't ever think about things as to what they cost. Think about things as what they cost to maintain. That's what gets you. Like, I'll tell you the dumbest thing I ever did, which I guarantee that every person in this room would have told me not to do it. And I did it. Ever heard of a boat? Yeah, B-O-A-T, about another 1,000 is right. That thing cost $250,000, and I spent between $75,000 and $85,000 just to maintain it for 5 or 6 years. And when I sold it, I got reamed. No Vaseline. You would have thought it was the biggest piece of crap on the planet. It was a wonderful Baja, 334-foot, beautiful twin engine. Nobody wanted it. Think about this. You all think your stuff is cool. You got all this stuff. Go try to sell it. Then you'll find out how cool it is. The third one, once you find out where your money's going, plug those holes. Plug them. Eating out for entertainment is one of the biggest. I didn't realize this, but Houston is the #1 eat out city in the nation. Did you know that? Yeah. It's insane. Insane. We eat out more than anybody else. We have more restaurants. It's crazy. But we use food as entertainment. If you say, no, I don't, have you ever done this? Your relatives say they're coming to town. What's the first thing you plan? Going out to dinner. See food as entertainment. Not only does it make you obese, it destroys your wallet. I'm going to give you an example that just shocked me. I have a little bar that Josie and I go to. We've been going there for 25 years. We go there about twice a week. Why? Because it's like Cheers to us. We know everybody there. I mean, literally, I've been there and I've known 30, 40 people. It's fun, it's pleasurable, and we go there twice a week. We have dinner once, and then we just go for drinks, but it's about $200 a week. Do the math. $200 a week times 52 weeks is $10,000 approximately, times 25 years. $250,000 I have spent at that place. You start thinking about you going out to eat and where you go out to eat and where you go out to eat, and you're going to be amazed. If you will start tracking your dollars, you will find that there are holes in the system and that there are wasteful things going on. Every time I go to a Astros game, I spend $500. And you say, oh, I don't spend that much. Yeah, you do. $18 for a beer. Um, it's insane. You know, find those holes and plug them. The next thing, pay yourself first. Make it as important as your mortgage. Now, if you're in the lower income brackets, $100,000 or less, you really want to save a minimum of 10% of what you earn. Minimum 10% of what you earn. But you've got to set it aside as if there's no other way. It's like a mortgage. You've got to set it aside. Because if you don't, at the end of the year, what do you have? Nothing. You've got to set aside that 10%. If you're a higher income earner, 200, 300, 400 grand or more, you really need to set aside about 30%. I know that sounds crazy, but live off 70%. That happens to be the magic number if you read. 70%. Live off of 70% of your secure income and save 30%. Think about it. If you make 200 grand a year and you save 30%, at the end of the 10 years, you got 600 grand. That's a substantial amount of money when you're investing it passively or even doing your own deals. So make it important to pay yourself first. The next principle or habit is build a no muscle, a no muscle. Start saying no to expenses that don't align with your goals. Remember that every dollar that you spend, it's a trade-off. When you spend it, it's gone. Saying yes to brunch every weekend might be saying no to financial freedom later. Many people in this room, though, are yes people. You say yes to everything. Let's go to the ball game. Yes. Let's go out to dinner. Yes. Let's do this. Yes. Let's do that. Yes. And you're very kind, loving, caring people. But you put too much importance on being accepted by other people. So you say yes to things that really don't take you towards your financial goals. You want to build up your no muscle so that you can say no to those things when they come up. The way that Zig Ziglar put it is anytime anybody asks you to spend money, you should say this: will this bring me closer to my financial goal or further away? And what you're going to find is many of those things take you further away from your financial goals, even your happiness goals. Some of you say yes to things you don't even want to do. You're just so used, you just want to please, you're a pleaser, you want to please, you want to be kind to other people. You got to learn to say no, to say no. I remember for years, whenever I didn't want to do something, I would literally lie as to why I wouldn't do it. I would say things like, oh, I can't, I'm teaching a class that night. No, I can't, I've got my mother's birthday that night. You know those type of excuses? You know those type of excuses? We've all done it. Now, I've learned to just go, no, thank you. You say, well, that could hurt somebody's feelings. I don't. I do care. I do care, but I'd rather do that than lie to them. Man, that sounds like fun, but no, I don't think so. It's hard to say it, isn't it? Even when I say it right now, it sounds awkward. But you've got to learn to say no. Build up that no muscle. Another way of saying no, this is a different, really not just financial, but you yes people. Let's say that your son is having trouble. You and your son are having trouble. He's got a soccer game Saturday. You know you need to be at that soccer game. But your boss walks in on Friday and says, I need you to work Saturday. What are yes people going to say? Yes, boss, I'll do it. Instead of negotiating, trying to figure out, maybe I can come in Sunday, maybe I can come in and work late Monday, something like that. You got to learn to say no to these things that are not taking you where you want to go. And number 4, and this is really what Total Wealth Academy is all about, increase your earning capacity. The rich focus on increasing their earning capacity. They build a second stream of income, a third, a fourth, a fifth. They are focused on multiple streams of income. What you've got to do is stop trying to save your way to financial success. The big lie is this. Here's the map that most people are given for success. Work real hard in high school, go to college, get out, get a job, work for 45 years until you're 65, scrimp and save in an IRA or 401k, then retire and live off your savings. That sound familiar? It's what we're all told. It's a lie. 95% of Americans fail to retire by age 65 using that lie. You can't save your way to retirement. The average savings for a 65-year-old in the United States, $400,000. Women live 20 years in retirement. Divide $400,000 by 20 years, that's $20,000 a year. How many of you can retire on $20,000 a year? You can't. That would be a horrible lifestyle. Horrible. See, what people need to realize is this. They try to cut their expenses, they cut coupons, they drive across town to save a pound of meat. It's all BS. See, you don't have an expense problem. You don't even have a tax problem. What you've got is an income problem. You need to make more money. And that's what we're doing at Total Wealth Academy. Make more money. See, here's the savings disconnect. For a 4-person family in the U.S., the average income is $101,000. The average bills for that same family, $106,000. And you're going to save your way to retirement? See why 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck? If you're living paycheck to paycheck, does this make sense to you? That's why. What you want to do is this. Spend 5% of your time on saving money. Go ahead and cut the coupons. No, I take that back. Put the freaking coupons down and read a book on how to make more money. That's what you do. Stop driving across town to save $1 on tomatoes. Stay in your neighborhood and read a book on how to make more money, because there's the problem. It's not expenses, it's not taxes. You don't make enough money. Spend 95% of your time on making more money. And then number 5, have the wisdom to stop. Define what enough means. I've seen people collapse financially because they kept thinking more was better. 1 more apartment complex, 10 more houses. More is not better. Better is better. It's a simple concept, but it's true. You want to be secure, happy, and free. That's the goal. Financially independent. For some of you, it's $10,000 a month. That's all you need. You'd be happy, secure, and free. Because your bills, you live lean. Your bills are literally $4,000 a month. You're making 10, you've got $6,000 a month for romance, travel, and fun. That's a decent lifestyle. Some of you need a higher. You need $20,000 a month. And then some of you have goals of $50,000 a month. But I'm telling you, to be happy, you've got to reach a point and stop. I remember I reached certain goals and I said, I'll be happy when I make X amount of dollars. And when I got to X amount of dollars, was I happy? Nope. I said, now I need X plus 10. X plus 20. Then I'll be happy. Then I'll be happy. It doesn't work. Pick a number, get there, and stop. Because, as the Dalai Lama says, it's okay to be happy. In fact, it's your duty to your friends and family especially to be happy. Don't think that more is better. Get what you need and have the wisdom to quit. Don't just go, and change the goal every time you reach a goal. And then I got a bonus exercise. Oh, the bonus is exercise. The bonus, and I also got this from Austin Wright. Austin Wright is ripped to shreds. I mean, abs. He is unbelievable. Hit the freaking gym. Take care of yourself. This goes down to the P-PC balance. If you've read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, you know this. But what you have is production, P, and production capability, PC. And what's happening is I'm watching people let themselves become obese, let themselves get old, and yes, that is a thing. You say, well, you can't help getting old. Bullshit. You can. When I was at Texas A&M, they were doing research on 74, 75, 76-year-old people. Did you know that with weight training, they eliminated 135 diseases? 135 diseases were eliminated by weight training these people. Their hands went back, their cognitive skills came back, all through exercise and weight training. If you let yourself get old, that is exactly what you're doing by not exercising. But the PPC balance, I put a lawnmower here for this example. If you buy the nicest lawnmower in the world, what is the production you want out of it? A mowed lawn. So you begin mowing your lawn, and you mow your lawn week after week, month after month, year after year, but you don't change the oil. You don't change the spark plugs, and you don't sharpen the blades. What's going to happen to that lawnmower? It's eventually going to break down, isn't it? And you're going to have expensive repairs, or you're going to have to replace it. It is the same thing with our bodies. The same thing. If you don't change the oil, weightlifting, if you don't change the spark plugs, aerobic training, if you don't sharpen the blades, eat right, guess what happens to your production capability? I've got all my 65 and 70-year-old friends selling their Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all this because they can't get in and out of them anymore. Hit the freaking gym. One of my mentors, Colonel A.I. Thomas, U.S. Marine Corps retired, did you know that on his 84th birthday, he bench pressed his body weight? Bench pressed his body weight. He didn't have trouble getting out of he had a Camaro, which is just as low. He didn't have trouble getting out of his sports car. Keep that in mind. So there are 5 habits, the 6 actually, the 6th one being exercise.